Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Steven. It's MTarget. And we're here to talk about basically all the stuff that is tiding us over between TI8 and the start of the build, essentially the build to TI9, which is the Dota Pro Circuit season for 2018-2019. Say something that they can see you.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. If you guys can, or if you guys think I sound weird, or if I sound drunk primarily, it's because I'm recording in a way that makes it gives me a really bad echo to myself. And as a result, I can hear myself, and that makes it so I have to kind of like really think out what I have to say. So if I sound weird, that's why. I'm completely sober, unfortunately. But we're here to talk about Dota 2, not this shit. And yeah, main thing, as I mentioned, we are just a couple days away from the start to the qualifiers for the Kuala Lumpur Major, which officially well, actually no, but it's the first big event in the Dota Pro Circuit season. And with that, we have a bunch of different organizations scrambling to field rosters. And for the most part, we're through the thick of it. We've got a bunch of new teams, some really interesting, some kind of weird, some kind of different, some that we didn't really expect to land like this. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and we're going to. So, yeah, just right off the top, going to go over some of the different teams that formed, and going to kick it off with the teams that actually stuck together. So, the three main ones that remain intact from TI8 are Virtus Pro, Team Liquid, and Evil Geniuses. I mean, any thoughts on the fact that they stuck together? You agree it's the right move, right?
I do. I'm a little surprised by EG, not gonna lie, because it felt like when they put the roster together that it was one of those just smash, let's see how it does. They did really well, so not a surprise that they stuck together, but at the same time a little bit like, oh, okay. Like this is actually sticking around. Because normally when we kind of throw something together for TI, they're the first team to throw it apart again.
Yeah. I mean, we already saw a lot of different, like, okay, I signed a 3-month contract. It ended on this date. Done. We saw a lot of that. Like Complexity Gaming is a great example. We saw Moon Meander, and Adam just leave one day, then it would be an off day, then the other one would leave, then it would be an off day, then the other one would leave. It was just like I said, contract is up, done, I'm out. And it's good to see those three teams sticking together. It's not a surprise that Virtus Pro did. We knew that they had re-upped with the team before TI8. God knows that they were amazing. And Team Liquid, I'm a little bit surprised about. I mean, the fact that they stuck together for this long is just on its face surprising in Dota 2.
I mean, that's definitely surprising, but at this point, I feel like that team, there's something them holding them together more than just like a drive to win. At this point, I don't care what the videos say, with Miracle saying, that he doesn't like the guys, whatever. I'm pretty sure he was joking. If he wasn't, I don't believe him. But at this point, Team Liquid's been together for what, 2 years now?
Something like that.
So, like, I could see them giving themselves one more shot.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I will, if we want to do another one of those, like, call me on it in 3 months kind of deals. I think that if they don't do well, that we would probably see some major shuffle at the midway point of the season. But I mean, that's the thing. Is that they're gonna, do that.
It's interesting because they do have really great chemistry, but I think, and something that really came to me during TI8 was how great at drafting Kuroki is.
Yeah,
like the joke that everybody made is, last pick Huskar, last pick Broodmother, and it's like, when you really look at what he did throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, but the man managed to draft a perfect Huskar and a perfect Broodmother team comp without making it look like a Huskar or a Broodmother team comp.
Well, yeah, but even if we just, you can call cheese on Broodmother and Huskar, and I don't complain about cheese. I think that I am a 6-pool kind of guy.
Yeah, but
it's not just that. He did do the like sneaky enchantress pick or the sneaky, not quote unquote cheese characters. Like he's just a really, really good drafter. And if you leave the cheese on the table, he'll take it. But if not, he's capable of putting together a really spectacular team regardless.
Yep.
And that's just, I love that. And I think that they're going to remain relevant as long as Kuroki has that kind of sharpness to it, even if they don't end up as a top tier team, which, they might be. It's not like there's any reason for us to doubt them at this point. But he gives them a foundation, and not many other teams have that. EG is a bit of a surprise. Virtus Pro, not so much. But we also knew it was coming. We'll ultimately see what they do. If between those 3 teams, they would be the one that I would worry about kind of getting shook by their not first place performance at TI8.
Yeah, I could see them being shook a little bit, like being like, oh, but I don't know.
I mean, theoretically, they should be fine with it because, what did they come in 5th, 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good on its own.
When you consider who they lost to.
And when you consider who they lost to, and when you consider how goddamn many tournaments they actually won on the way there, like theoretically, whatever, we stumbled once, no problem. But this is Dota. But anyway, so those are the 3 teams that stuck together that are important, really. The teams that came together and the teams that were kind of shaken up a bit. Do you want to just go region by region?
That's the most efficient way.
All right. China. We're going to start with China. And big shout outs to Once a Year Dota on Reddit, who came up with a great list of every team, basically. Okay, so Team Aster. Going to start right from the top. Siler, D-Stones, XXS, Baboka, Fenrir, mostly, veteran players that we know about. D-Stones, I think, is a pub star, but there's enough name value there that's fairly interesting. Invictus Gaming really got shaken up. They had, which is a little bit surprising, but also kind of not because it's Dota. Ghost, Emo, in July. Excuse me?
Did we skip Deathbringer?
I'm skipping. I'm not going to go over everybody.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, Deathbringer is worth bringing up. But
just because of Lanham alone.
Yeah.
I thought.
Ghost, Emo, in July, Dogfights, Red Panda. There's an okay lineup. I wouldn't necessarily point to them. I would say it's a downgrade, long story short. Downgrade.
Honestly, both this, and I'm just going to go ahead and read off Invictus Gaming, IG Vitality, Dust, Butterfly Effect, Lada, Mian, probably butchered that, and Len. This screams to me a rebuilding year, which I think Dota needs more of. Having teams go, all right, we're going to put a team together that we have faith in over the next 2 years, or 2 teams or whatever, where we can kind of shuffle the talent between them, where we think that we'll do pretty well. We're not necessarily expecting wins. Maybe they are. I don't know. But I think that we need to start seeing more of that, where we can get enough DPC points to keep us in the money. And we're going to look at a year out and develop the talent. And China being the first region to embrace that would make the most sense to me.
I mean, they're the only ones that have like institutions. Like it wouldn't be all that crazy to see, any given Western team decide, you know what, we're just going to release our entire team and be done with it for a year and come back later. the Cloud9 thing, basically. So
look how well that worked out.
If that approach is going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen in China. So yeah, as you mentioned, Deathbringer Gaming, MS, Freeze, Kuvara, Lanham, HYM. Solid lineup. Keen Gaming, SSS, what the hell is his name? Zhai Jinkai. He was on Keen Gaming last year and also on eHome. He's got a Chinese character. Old 11, Kaka, Dark. That's interesting enough that I
expect to see them make it to a major at some point, but that's about it. You know, I
it's
expect
an interesting lineup.
Team in China.
Mr. Game Boy is a team. And
this is a team.
Yeah, Jaja, Ferrari, Awen, Eve, G. I only bring them up because Ferrari, and I'm just going to plug him in any opportunity I have.
Well, I was going to comment because it was announced on Newbie's Twitter, which means that Newbie still has a connection to it in some point. I mean, like, okay, it's a tweet that Newbie made that was basically like Mr. Game Boy for new season, and you know, was kind of talking about him, but that suggests that Mr. Game Boy has some Newbie connections still.
Yeah.
So worth keeping an eye on for that reason. Would not be surprised to see Ferrari get cycled back into Newbie if needed.
Yep. And I believe that this is actually the same PSG LGD lineup as well, right?
PSG LGD, yes. Newbie lineup, no.
No, yeah, it's a new Newbie.
Yeah, new-ish Newbie.
Yeah, they swapped out a couple players.
Moogie, SCCC, Inflame, Cat U is the new guy, and Faith, who I don't think was on Newbie last year, but I look forward to it. Should be a good roster. Yeah, LGD, as you just said, same 5 guys. Really nothing. I actually, because we were talking about them earlier, I would love to see an LGD versus Liquid, either a one of the what was that drafting mode that Moonduck did a long time ago, where across the best of 5, every time a hero got picked, it got removed from the pool entirely. I would love to see like LGD and Liquid play that, or even better, just give me a straight like best of 10 or best of 11 between LGD and Liquid, because I want to see those drafts, man, because they draft so well and they play so well and so similarly against each other that I could just watch that Dota all day.
Yeah, it'd be something.
Those players would hate me, but I would love it.
Especially a long series like that. I mean, we saw like OG versus LGD. That was such a back and forth thing, with every draft being its own little chess match. And they adjusted to each other as it went on. It was really interesting. Anyway, Team Root, Never End, Chosen One, Yao, Victoria, and DDC. Team Serenity sticks together. Vici Gaming, Paparazzi, Ori, Yang, Fade, DY. That's China. Any random thoughts?
I mean, I basically said them. You know, I think China's going to be an interesting first couple months, and then I think it's going to shake out basically as we expect. I expect to see LGD at the top still, because short of like these guys forgetting how to play Dota, they're fine.
Yeah. Or like barring a crazy meta shift.
Yeah, well, that I'm actually, speaking of really brief tangent, I'm really looking forward to 7.20. Whatever 720 has, I expect to be crazy and huge. I expect to see some massive meta shift before the minor. So probably in like, I think we're due for a Dota patch this week, actually. So if not this week, maybe in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
They'll be cutting it a little bit close.
That'll definitely be interesting to see. Just a random observation for me from China. A lot of continuity there, which I like.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, LGD intact. Newbie, 3 players still in place. Serenity still there. Vici Gaming, mostly intact. Like I said, lots of continuity, and that's good. And I wish we would see more of that in Western Dota. Anyway, CIS. So honestly, the only
Let's
really
just cover the bolded teams, the ones that are confirmed. Let's kind of skim over the other guys, just because there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams, and the only ones really worth mentioning, we did an episode discussing Dendy at length. The new Na'Vi has been finalized. It's Crystallize, Magical, Blizzy, Chuvash, and Sonico. Chuvash being the guy who we didn't already know when they announced that Dendy was gone. Team Spirit is Oliver, 9, Hesty Joe, Biver, FNG, Vega Squadron.
If Oliver and 9 show up, I'm super excited because I'm a big Hesta Joe and Biver fan, and FNG is very good.
Yeah, there's a lot to like there.
Personally, I like seeing Hesta Joe in Europe more than CIS, just because I felt like, past tense, when I watched him in the EU meta, so to speak, he did better than when he played in CIS. Happy he's on a team. Don't really care where he is. Hope he does well.
Yeah. Windstrike remains intact. Virtus Pro remains intact.
That's my biggest surprise.
Yeah, that Windstrike more so.
Of CIS.
Say again?
I was actually going to say, I'm more surprised about Virtus Pro staying intact than Windstrike staying intact. Because Virtus Pro had such a bad result. Bad and big ass quotation. Bad. So that, it doesn't feel great. Windstrike, on the other hand, is that team who was literally picked up by Windstrike just before TI. So I'm expecting that the Windstrike, the org, signed the players to through the end of year contract or something, where that team was like, that org is like, we don't care how well you do at TI. We expect you guys to do well. We just want to lock you in now so we don't get bought out by an even bigger org after TI.
Yeah, it's possible that they would sign like an 18-month deal or something.
Even a 6-month deal, because they were signed literally during TI qualifiers.
Yeah.
Which is a huge disappointment, because when they were playing as Fly to Moon, Bitcoin was doing great, and now not so much. I blame you guys.
Yeah, CIS Dota killing crypto. But yeah, continuity there, and it feels more surprising in CIS than it does in China to me.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Going to be competitive, I think. I think that Virtus Pro being far and away the best. I mean, we saw with the qualifiers how competitive it was, because we were expecting Fly to Moon to run away with it. We ended up seeing Espada. We ended up seeing Team Spirit. We ended up seeing a few different teams make their presence felt, and that's great. Oh, real quick, last CAS team to discuss, Lil left Na'Vi, founded his own team named Odium. Vtune, General, Ghostic, Lil, and Seema the Slayer. Thoughts?
I don't know. I really don't know about that roster.
I mean, it's really curious why Virtus Pro got rid of Lil. Because if you remember, Na'Vi was doing well. Virtus Pro was doing well. And they still traded Lil for Roger.
And then they did better.
Yeah, Virtus Pro did better. Na'Vi, not so much.
Yeah. And I still feel like, Lil, when Lil is on point, great player. But reading between the lines here, like, I don't have any insider information. I'm purely going off of what I watched from footage, both of his gameplay as well as of, True Sight videos and everything else. Homeboy can tilt. And also he's so aggressive. I mean, what made him so popular and so flashy when he was doing great was he could go invade at level 1 and, get kills and whatever. But that's a really risky play, because if you do that and you lose that fight or whatever and you die, you're feeding away gold, and that tilts your entire team.
Yeah.
When it's no, guys, I know that it failed last time. I'm just going to try it again this game. And what happens? He dies and he feeds. And again, if he's gotten better, because it looked like he was starting to get clean that act up a bit great. Love to see him be a captain. You know, General can probably also keep him in line a little bit if needed. Just because, you know, old man General at this point, it feels like. I don't even know how long he's been playing, but it feels like forever.
It feels like forever. Anyway, that's CIS. Europe. So, as we mentioned, Liquid intact. OG presumably still intact. Not actually confirmed, I don't think.
I don't know, because it doesn't have to be confirmed because they're not competing in Kuala Lumpur. Also, really quickly, I feel really old. General's only 22.
Oh God.
Anyways,
yeah, old man Fear. I'm like 5 years older than him.
Yeah, although Fear has always looked like he's been in his mid-30s. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Anyway,
what are your thoughts on Alliance? Qualifiers, Mickey, Foxy, and Sania and Taiga.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad we're in the same boat. Like, okay, at this point, it really feels like just this stack with Alliance slapped on the the name.
The top team, like I said, Team Liquid intact, OG probably intact. Team Secret had a little bit of a shakeup.
And they were memeing the hell out of it. They leaked pictures of Arteezy mid with
Dendy,
with Kuroki, Raven. I mean everything. The one that killed me was the one where they had Kuroki, and I was like, I swore at my computer, and I was like, you motherfuckers, you better not have Kuroki. And yeah, that was an awkward conversation because I was on my phone in public.
Actual Team Secret lineup. Nisha, he was on Team Kingwin, and also, you know, Let's Do It when they split off from the org. Mid one comes back. Zai is currently slotted in as their offlaner. Yapzor and Puppy. I mean, that's on its face really good. That Zai as an offlaner, kind of interesting. Going to be interesting to see how that pans out. But yeah, that's a solid lineup of players. If they can gel, could see them making noise.
Yeah. Then again, Team Secret was making noise last time.
Yeah, and they got top 6 at TI.
Well, yeah. But also, really quickly, 2 teams that have my attention. Mango Bay, Faye, Garter, Bone 7, Coop, and Flash, or Koopa, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. Garter's my tier 2 player to watch. He has been for years. Dude's got grind. Dude's got passion, so I like watching him play, watching him compete. And then the other one is Shangri-La, is Ace, Fada, 33, Soxa, and PPD.
Yeah, that's the big new stack that's super interesting.
And when PPD announced it, I thought they were going to compete in NA.
Yeah.
Because, you know, whatever. But I do find it interesting. It looks like everybody on Optic, not so much that Optic said, we're not, you know, re-signing any of you guys. Again, no insider information, but the way that it played out to me looks like everybody optioned their buyout, so to speak, and left. And Optic was left holding nobody. Yeah. So,
which is interesting.
I would not be surprised to see Optic pick up an NA team.
Yeah,
Don't know who.
We'll talk about that later.
But I would not be surprised.
We'll talk about that later. Team Lithium, another fairly interesting stack, includes Madara, Mage, Keju, and maybe next time, and Peksu. Solid tier 2 kind of team. I'd be interested.
Good open qualifier stack. Whether or not it sticks together, we'll see.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we were both in Boston. We have a special place in our hearts for all those guys from AdFinM.
Raise a beer for Maisie next time. Maybe next time, Bounty Hunter.
Yes.
That Bounty Hunter, man.
Also, the 300 chant.
Man, that was great.
Oh, it was. I loved it. So, Europe, I mean, it looked pretty garbage last year because it was basically Liquid, and then, you know, way behind Liquid was Secret, and then way behind Secret was everybody else.
Yep.
Like the teams that looked poised to make a run, like Kingwin, like OG for a time. They both ended up fading off, and obviously OG came back. But like there was one Europe qualifier spot, and that made it. There was a reason for that.
Yeah.
And this is a lot more competitive and going to be interesting to see how these guys shake out.
Yeah. Honestly, you know what this is making me look forward to is Dream League. Like, I want to see this going on in Dream League where we can see them play, you know, over a month or two, team here, team there. Just, I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for league play when it comes to Dota, mostly because we don't get a whole lot of it.
It's true.
Also, really quickly, I actually just noticed this. There's a team called Happy Guys that is Illidan, Khazar, Boogie, Afromush, and Synderen.
Yeah.
Synderen and Illidan are on the same team. What timeline are we in?
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. I'm not sure if I want off this train.
Let's skip North America for now. Save the best for last. Southeast Asia.
I like how Clutch Gamers is literally registered without a position 4.
Yeah. They got SSA Spartan and Skylark, speaking of soft spots for AdFinem.
Yep.
Kind of weird.
Several AdFinem boys have traveled far and wide because they're like, nobody has a spot for me, so I'm going elsewhere. And it's like, I'm a little bit like nervous because I do feel that to a degree AdFinem overperformed at Boston Major. And on top of that, one of the reasons that they were so good at all was because of the chemistry that they had.
Yeah, for sure.
There we go.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think that they're individually talented players, but yeah, also notice that none of them have had any real success since breaking off from AdFinem. And there's probably not a coincidence. It's probably not a coincidence. Like, they're, like I said, individually talented, but not sure if they're in like not sure what the issue is there. But the fact that all of them have been having issues, kind of weird. Anyway, Southeast Asia. So, Entity Gaming. I don't know why I even brought them up. Fnatic doesn't actually have a roster yet, which is they only have Abed and DJ. They're in the same exact spot, which we discussed when EE, Pylai, and Universe all split off. Like, yeah, weird. We'll see. They have time. They already have a spot in the regional qualifiers for the Kuala Lumpur Major. So no rush for them, but it's interesting that they haven't announced anything yet. Obviously,
other than get rid of all of the Westerners and send them back home, which I think is the right call. Don't get me wrong. But luckily, everybody that they got rid of has, I think, landed somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have. We'll get to that later. Or actually, no. Is Pylai a tester? Nope, he's not. Yeah, so Universe and the EE have. But anyway. Fnatic, still an unknown. There's a new team formed around Ohio, who was, of course, the really big.
You're going to call that formed around Ohio with that roster?
Yes.
I'm going to call that formed around Raven or Chan. Well, more Raven, but.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's Ohio's Facebook page that announced it, but.
Either way, Team Low-Tech. Raven, Chiwan, not Chuan, Chiwan, Ohio, AU, and Yamate. I mean, four of those are probably very familiar names for people.
And Chuan is from Geek Fam. For those of you guys who kind of recognize the name and aren't getting confused with Chuan, who will eat the cheese. And he was Geek Fam when they had a pretty decent little run. So he's a very good mid laner. And I think that he Raven and Ohio make a great core, and Yamata is a great position 5 player. I don't know a whole lot about AU, so hence me leaving him off the list.
Yeah. Mineski got shaken up a bit. Looks really, really hot. Not gonna lie. JT, Moon, KP, KPIII, Febby, and Mushi. That's a really strong lineup of players.
And as you all noted, Mushi is back to position 5. He hasn't been there for a while. I like it. I think that Mushi, it's time for him to change positions and go from that position 1 to a, all right, let's go macro. I am not a fan of the argument that the older a player gets, the more that they slow down. But Mushi as a player has very clearly been slowing down in his Dota. He's been, I don't know what the right way to put it is, a right way to word it, but like he's very clearly more interested in the macro now than he used to be. He's much more interested in the bigger picture if you watch the way that he plays. That I think it distracted him a little bit from the way that he played position 1. So should be good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's such a talented team.
Yeah.
So much talent there. Like, they could be really good. I like everything there. Everything there is good. So TNC Tigers is no longer under the TNC umbrella. They're now just the Tigers. And they have a really interesting team. They've got Ajit.
Very interesting team.
I mean, I'll read them off. They've got Ajit, In Your Dream, Moon Meander, Zephyr, and 1437/Rose/Theban. I mean, that team, it lost 458 and KYXY. They replaced them, obviously, with Moon Meander and Ajit. They made noise in the qualifiers. They didn't qualify, but they almost did. It looked really, really good at points. I'm wondering if that lineup can do something. Like, I'm really curious about them.
No, same. I'm curious to see how they do. Interesting lineup. Between Moon Meander and 1437, who both really feel like mercenaries at this point. I am worried about that long term for the team. Just because of their history. If 1437 and Moon Meander can finally settle down, that's great. I'm happy for them, but they just have that history. But speaking of TNC though, TNC Predator, Gabby, Armel, Cuckoo, Tims, and Ninja Boogie basically looks like they said bye to Raven and just kept the rest of the squad, or did a little bit of shuffling.
Also left.
That's right, same age. Yeah, but
yeah. Still, that's a great lineup.
Well, but these are names that we've had associated with the TNC brand before, so that was the other thing. So I am I like, oh my god, they're gonna dominate things? No, but I certainly expect to see TNC Predator as a very significant.
Yeah, I mean they were good throughout last year.
Yeah,
this one I think could be a little bit better. We'll see. We'll see where they end up going. But I see them, if they can, I think their floor is about what they did last year, which was pretty darn good, all things considered. Win at a TI or anything. But, they made it to events. They were clearly one of the better teams in Southeast Asia. There's a lot to like there. And again, not going to win TI9 probably, but they're going to be competitive. And that's really good, especially in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think that we'll see them at some majors and maybe even see them at TI9. But yeah, that should be good. Should be a good show.
Yeah, and Sam H is currently still a free agent. Just wanted to confirm that. So that's Southeast Asia. Any thoughts?
Should be a good time. I don't have enough time for Dota. If somebody wants to pay for me to be able to watch Dota again, that'd be great. I'm actually a lot cheaper than you'd think. So
I worked for CNN and the Washington Post, so I'm not as cheap, but
he is nowhere near as cheap as I am.
Washington Post.
Yes. He has a much better pedigree than I do.
Yes.
But I'm better looking than he is.
Okay. South America. So we mentioned last time some of the new teams, in particular Braxstone, MNZ, Leo Style, King Tekka, Stinger, Excel. That's kind of a patchwork team made up of ex-Infamous players as well.
For those who don't know, MNZ is Kotaro.
Yeah. So
it should be an interesting team. I think that South America is really going to start coming into its own this year. I'm going to go ahead and plug Moxie here. She's actually just joined damn it.
Yeah.
Hippo Moonduck. She just joined Moonduck. I was like flying Hippo Earth something. So she just joined Moonduck, but she's done a lot of personal coverage and personal work on Southeast America. That's called Brazil, Josh, on South America.
I guess it's kind of Southeast America, like geographic.
A lot of them are actually in the Pacific time zone, Peru, etc. Okay. Southeast America is Brazil, but anyways, I digress. So I as skeptical as a lot of people are, and there's a lot of weird shit going on in South America right now. Again, check out Moxie's Twitter, MOXXI Gaming, I believe is what it is, because she's been retweeting a lot of stuff. I guess there's some blackmail going on right now, or something about players like not being allowed to play. I don't know. I just saw these tweets like while we were live, so I don't know what's going on there. But I think that South America is going to start being really fun to watch. Partially because the players are not perfect. You watch too much perfect Dota and things get boring.
Kinda. I mean, with MMA, it's always a matter of like really, really good MMA is the peak, but right behind really, really good MMA is really, really bad MMA.
Yeah.
And then
I think in Dota, it's not quite the same. I think it's like really, really good, like perfect Dota, like tier 0, basically, like that top 1% of tier 1, and then tier 2, tier 3. And then there's like everything below that, but like that, like decently good tier 1. Not saying it's bad, but tier 2 Dota has something special.
Yeah. It's basically like watching like Southeast Asia qualifiers versus watching like, Liquid versus Virtus Pro again.
Yeah.
Granted, it's kind of a weird comparison.
I would watch both of those.
Yeah, but you get my point.
Yep.
It's a different taste.
Yeah,
and they're both good. Anyway, South America.
Oh, there he is. SK. Well, trying to find the roster.
Infamous, despite losing a bunch of players to Braxstone, came up with a new roster, including Tomato, who I guess is returning to South America. Like he was bouncing around in North America.
He tried to go to Europe for a little bit, but he couldn't. I mean, he's still a kid. I think he's like 17 years old. Like, homeboy's got to come home at some point.
Yeah. So, Tomato, Pepita, Whisper.
Just turned 18, excuse me. Like literally 2 days ago.
Whisper, Matthew, Moose. I don't really know about them. Not going to lie. We'll see how they do. They don't have much competition. The only other real competition they have, Pain Gaming, kind of established itself pretty firmly as the best South American team. Agree?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Pain Gaming was the best South American team pretty easily.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. They have split from the team, from the actual Pain Gaming organization, and have largely kept their roster intact. They are now Skol, which is SKOL. I'm assuming it's Skol because that's like Cheers in Scandinavia.
I have no idea what it stands for.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably something cheeky, but I don't care.
But HFN, Weeha, Tavo, King RD. How do we pronounce that?
King RD, I think, is the agreed upon.
Okay. King RD. And then they bump whoever their support player was. I forget his name at the moment, but they bring in Misery.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
I think it was Duster, because Duster's on W.
Yes, Duster. It was Duster. Yeah, so adding Misery.
I'm excited. I think Misery and Weeha together, great combo.
The biggest thing is that,
Grand Finals. Yeah, these guys are gonna have to start learning how to comm though in something other than Portuguese, or Spanish. Was it Spanish or Spanish? No, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Point being is that you had four guys who were playing a game of Dota, and then you had Weehop playing a pub where he couldn't really comm, and it was all pings. Like, and it was blatantly obvious at TI. Like before TI, and they were playing, it was like, okay, like they're gonna gel in because they played at the summit, they looked okay. And then they played at TI, and it was just this huge step backward, partially because everybody else just really brought their game up, and they didn't have much further to go. So they got to fix that for this season. And I want them to, because I'm a huge Weehaw fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge Misery fan. I mean, I like everybody from Digital Chaos. So it would be great to see them succeed. I also think that it's kind of like, when we were debating South America before, I was kind of like, we could see a random North American stack just go to South America, pick up Tomato, and then win everything. And I think, that's not quite that. They only got 2 EU players, I guess. But you gotta imagine
I can see that, but the thing here is that I think that the power of this roster is in HFN and Tavo. Like, yeah, Wee's great, and I mean, and he's a huge core to this roster. But without HFN and Tavo specifically, and King RD, because he's like the heart of the team, obviously. I mean, and then I've mentioned everybody, but HFN and Tavo play so damn well that they get on a team that really clicks. Expect to see them top 4 at a TI.
Really?
Yes, I'm saying that right now. You want to tweet that? You want to pin that to my Twitter?
No.
Okay, good, because I don't know if I feel that confident.
I don't want to be cruel.
Also, I really think it's like a year or 2 out, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking over Pain Gaming's results, and their best tournament pretty easily was second place at WSG 2017. I mean, that kind of comes with an asterisk because WESG is like a weird thing. They got 5th, 6th at Galaxy Battles 2. The big one that doesn't come with an asterisk is 3rd place at ESL 1 Birmingham. And that was a big win for them. Like, that was a really good showing for them. It was a 12-team tournament. They actually, 3rd place. They looked solid in the group stages. They looked solid in the playoffs. That was one of the few times where you're like, yeah, this team can actually do stuff. And they actually won out to 3rd place. Like, they had to beat Fnatic to avoid 4th place, and they did the damn thing. Like, they beat Mineski there, they beat Fnatic there, they beat Team Liquid, and Team Liquid. And that showed that there's something there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see if like Misery might give them a little bit of extra something. And like you mentioned, communication, if they can get that better, gonna be interesting to see where they go. I'm not gonna say that they're gonna do especially well at TI, especially with it going to Shanghai. But
that is true. I forgot about that. This year is, God, man, this year is going to be China SEA. Like, I don't want to call it now, but like, I have a feeling that especially North American teams are going to have no freaking idea what to do with playing in an arena that's not chanting USA.
Yeah.
Although I could also see the Chinese fans chanting USA just to fuck with them. So
that would be funny.
That.
Do that, China. Do it for me. And finally, let's go over North America. And that's,
the clusterfuck region.
Yeah, basically.
Even though really not.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we kind of mentioned that PPD's team could kind of maybe hypothetically end up in North America, depending on how things shake out. Like,
then they ran away.
No?
And then they ran back to Europe from North America. Like, nope. let's go to Europe instead.
I think that if they end up getting signed to a larger organization that wants a North American team, that they could be lured back. And I think that there's no restriction on that in the Dota Pro Circuit, so no reason that they couldn't.
Yeah.
Other than like Vijlas and that kind of stuff, but whatever. North America.
Oh yeah, that shit's about to get. Whew.
EG, as mentioned, still intact.
Yep.
VGJ Storm is now the Quincy crew and is Rezo, UR, MSS, SVG. They all stick together, but they brought in Universe to be their off laner.
And this honestly just feels right. Like looking at this roster, it just looks good. Also, very fitting. Yawar, who is Sumail's brother, is playing with Universe, who is the guy that gave Sumail his shot on EG.
Yeah, there's some
and MSS. Poetry. Like there's poetry. This whole, like all of these guys have like old school Dota, old-ish school Dota connections. They're still early Dota 2, not like old Dota 1 connections, but you get the point.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I'm happy to see this team together.
I'm very happy to see that VGJ Storm team like stick together for the most part, because that was a really good team.
Yeah,
and you said you predicted them to maybe win TI8.
No, I don't think I predicted that. I predicted them to be top something, but I don't think I predicted them to win.
Okay, you expected them to do really well.
I expected them to do better than they did.
I think,
but I will say I'm not surprised that they're no longer sponsored by VGJ because of the ownership rules.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, oh no, it's just
We'll discuss that a bit later.
Yeah,
but yeah, really good lineup. And I mean, who was it that was their off laner? It began with an S.
No, because it wasn't SVG.
Snaking.
No, that's right, Snaking. And Snaking is on Complexity Gaming now, so
yeah. But
and Snaking,
I mean,
actually almost got picked up by Complexity last year to be their offlaner. So
Snaking is good.
Monkeys got the slot instead, and then Monkeys Forever kind of shit the bed. So
yeah, Snaking's good, but you have to look at Universe as an upgrade, right? You got. 100%. I mean, you gotta. Like bless you, Snaking, but that's Universe. That's Universe. So really good team. Having them around to compete with EG is really good. Like, that's really important to have a strong number 2. And I think that unless things go nuts, that they'll definitely provide that.
Yep.
Yeah. So Complexity Gaming. Like, this is the one that kind of came out of nowhere. Skemberloo is their carry. Limp returns. Snaking, as mentioned, their new offlaner. Z-Freak returns, and their number 5 support, probably captain, is EE. Eternal Envy, Jackie Mao. Let's discuss this. Discourse.
You really don't want me to discuss this?
No, I'm do it.
No, you go first.
We discussed the big thing for me. We talked about it at length. The best EE is not captain carry EE, right?
Yeah.
His best tournament win was with Team Secret, where he won as a carry under Puppy as captain. I think that depending on how he actually plays as a support, like, it's going to be curious to see how him trying to captain may have impacted his trying to play carry. Like,
I agree, and also vice versa. I think that his carry is affecting his captain, and
it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting, and I also don't know how well Limp Snake. I don't know anything about Skemberloo, so we're just going to kind of throw him off the table here. He's just a big question mark. I don't know how well Limp Snaking and Z-Freak are going to handle Eternal Envy, assuming that EE still plays his micromanaging position 5 style. It's been a while, so who knows? But my understanding is that Eternal Envy has a bit of a control freak attitude when it comes to this is how we're going to play the game. And when there are, when people talk about complexity, Z Freak being like, all right, give me this, I'm gonna try and make shit work, and he does, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, Skemberloo, carry player, also played support, been kind of a journeyman of SEA. Most notable team he was on is GeekFam, but he's bounced around all over the place. Hasn't been around too long. So his first pro team was 2016, but he has a resume.
Yeah, no, he's got a resume. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with him. I just, man, I at this point, and also some of his personal stream stuff. At this point, I have tried to root for Eternal Envy for so long that I'm done. I am done having hope. It is, forget it. You're on your own now, buddy. Just prove me wrong.
I bought into Team NP to the point where he still has a lot of goodwill with me from that.
And that's legit. And I bought into Team NB too, and I bought in hard, and I crashed and burned. Not after NP, but after Cloud9. That was the one where for me I started. Was it Cloud9 after NP or?
Well, they got purchased, quote unquote, by Cloud9 for TI7.
Yeah, and that time period was where it just.
That was kind of a really disappointing stretch.
And I think part of it's also just the fact that
I think they brought in Fada, and that made their roster look super good.
Fada, man, yeah, that's probably what.
Because if you remember, EE was playing mid for a long time.
Yeah,
remember they would do the, I think SVG Warlock and EE Mirana mid.
Yep.
And they would do the bazillion arrows with the chains, and it was great whenever it landed. Yeah, it was fun. But anyway, so going to be really interesting to see how EE playing support as a captain, probably. It's going to be interesting to see how that works, and if that kind of maybe ends up being the thing that finally puts him over the top, and going to be interesting to see if that allows Complexity Gaming to kind of be competitive with the EGs and the Quincy Crews / ex-VGJ Storms. The other big new stack that got formed is March Out of Army 2.
For those of you who don't know, it is literally exactly what the name says. March got out of the army. He was at TI8 as a commentator, and Homeboy wants to play again.
Yep. So, Moo as carry. Bryle.
I'm excited.
Ferev, Milan, March. That's a good enough team on paper.
I see them making some minors and majors, and they're going to be as fun as hell to watch in the Dream Leagues or North America circuits.
Yeah, I could see them making noise in a bunch of different tournaments. March, for anybody who doesn't recognize the name, was one of the OG MVP Phoenix guys.
He was literally the MVP Phoenix guy.
Huh?
He was the guy that everybody remembered because he was the guy that they asked how he was feeling one time, and he yelled because he didn't know what else to do, and it got turned into a meme.
Yeah. He ended up retiring for a stretch, came back as a coach with that Go International, and ended up having a short-lived second coaching run with Wind and Rain, which was the kind of Ferev, Ritsu, Bryle, Milan team that came together for the qualifiers. But yeah, that's an interesting enough team talent-wise that, like I said, they got my attention. Yeah, and I think that like I said, having North America not just be evil geniuses and then everyone else is really good. And I think that VGJ Storm is going to be able to, or Quincy Crew is going to be able to fill that void and make it a two-team division at worst. But I think that March Out of Army and Complexity game lineup, depending on things shake out, might make it competitive enough to actually have a region.
And then beyond that, everything else is just kind of like waiting to see.
Yeah, after that is a bunch of random stacks. I mean, the loss of Optic
barely a
Gaming,
smattering, because all of the other NA players that were worth being excited about are in Europe or Southeast Asia or South America or whatever.
there's Team, Costa Bile, Rioja, Brax, Newsham, and IX Mike.
That's just...
Then there's Team Tam, which is next to Team, which is a bunch of dudes. But yeah, that's North America. Kind of a clusterfuck, but there's enough interesting stuff going on that I felt the need to save it for last. So, strongest region.
Strongest region?
Mm-hmm.
Strongest or most competitive?
Strongest.
Europe.
I agree. I think that having OG, Secret, and Liquid all there, at least for now, got to be the most overall strong region. Like, that's 3 elite teams. Probably. Depending.
Yeah, definitely. Now, for most competitive, I'm just going to throw this out here really quickly. I've got China, Southeast Asia are close. CIS could be, but it could also be another shit show because it's CIS. It's this big gamble on what teams are going to show up.
Yeah.
And then that team that I want to be super competitive, South America. And obviously that runs through everything. But basically what that's also telling me is that I think that every region other than North America looks like it can have some great competition. North America, deeper than it was, but not super deep. And then you got a lot of God knows what's going on underneath.
Yeah. Yeah. We could see North America fall apart really hard.
Again.
I'm hoping it sticks together. I'm hoping that the complexities and those XVJ storms and the march out of army, like, I hope that those teams come together and do something. At the very least, I'm not expecting them to like win any majors or even necessarily qualify consistently, but I want to see them. I want to see things can be competitive. I want to see at least 1 or maybe 2 of them shake out and stick together and gel and get good. I think that'd be great. So, with all that, we are in the thick of the open qualifiers for the Kuala Lumpur Major. And with that, that's the start of the Dota Pro Circuit. Yeah. And that's really interesting. And with that, I think it's worth talking about the actual Dota Pro Circuit and like what kind of stuff we're thinking about it at this point. Because I've thought about it. I initially really liked everything about it. I think that the limited schedule is really good. I think that there was a little bit of oversaturation last year.
Yep, definitely.
I felt like, and with that oversaturation came, decreased viewership on an event-by-event basis, which is bad when Dota tournaments call for such an expensive prize pool. And, on down the list. I'm now kind of starting to worry about it a little bit. And I'm kind of starting to change how I look at the new Dota Pro Circuit season as kind of a and this is very cynical of me, but as like a power play from Valve, that they're making teams more reliant on TI. Now we already saw TI make up like almost 60% of the actual prize pool payouts for all of Dota 2. We're going to see that move towards like 80%.
Unless we see some massive... We're going to see 2 things. One, we're going to see... either need to see massive increases in prize pools for majors and minors, or 2, we are going to see the Dota the TI prize pool decrease, and I don't think we're going to see that. I think as long as we're able to get close to 75% of the way there, to beat this year's, Valve can always go, oh, look at all this money. People just bought and just sort of magic it out of thin air because they only take 25% of battle pass money and put it towards the actual prize pool. The rest of it goes towards other things that are important, sure, but there's enough of a bumper there that they can just kind of shuffle that money back in and go, ta-da!
Yeah.
You stage a sale, and at the same time, you insert stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we've discussed at length that the importance of TI8 is kind of destructive on the whole of the Dota Pro scene. And I think that having so few important tournaments is going to hurt that even more. And I also think that this is going to force out a lot of the other kind of tier 2 tournament organizers. Like if you're Valve and you're hosting a major, like who are you looking at right now? Like you're looking at PGL, you're looking at ESL, you're looking at Perfect World, you're looking at Epicenter.
And that's it.
4 of them right there. There are 5 majors. You gotta imagine that 4 of them are right there. I mean, there's GESC, there's the Summit, I just actually pull up a list. There's the captain's drafts, the Summit, WESG. They're not actually going to be a part of it. Dream League. Star Ladder. Like, with only 5 majors, there's not enough to go around.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got to imagine Epicenter is one of them. We're getting PGL already. ESL is going to be, they gotta.
Well,
and then they're going to have 2 for China, probably. Right?
Probably. I don't know, man. Because the biggest issue for me is ESL has made some questionable decisions over the last year between their Dota organization as well as their Counter-Strike stuff. So I would not be surprised to see them slide further. Remember, before PGL was a thing, ESL had Dota on lock for a while. So, and then PGL showed up, blew them out of the water, blah, 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 blah. ESL's got to be really damn careful, otherwise they're not going to get any more Valve contracts in Dota 2 at least. CSGO, God knows what's going to happen over there. I don't give a shit. But
and MDL.
Oh, I forgot about MDL.
I'm really wondering how many of these are actually going to be able to stick around.
Yeah, I agree.
And
some may or may not be a bad thing that they're gone. At the same time, when there's only 5 plus minors, those minors are going to need some help.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to complain about not seeing another Galaxy Battles. You know what I mean?
Galaxy Battles was fun, though. But I know what you mean.
But yeah, I don't think that anybody's going to complain about not seeing that. But like I said, with the Dota 2 market, you got to, they got their SEA tournament.
Yep.
They're probably going to skip over North America, let's be honest. They're not going to have a North American tournament this year, which sucks. But
I don't know. We might. Well, actually, I would not be surprised if we saw a Canadian tournament this year. I will. I expect to see a Canadian tournament if we see anything, because with the way that visas are in the US now, forget it.
Come to Calgary. It's beautiful.
Come to, I don't know, something right over the border from me so I can just drive 3 hours and be there. But I really don't think we want to host a tournament in Quebec.
Quebec's really nice, though.
I'm sure it is, but have you seen the streets? Cities like this?
Oh, I know. I've been there. First time I got together with my wife, Montreal. Fun fact about me. Yeah. So there's a lot of folks. There just aren't enough tournaments to go around. Like I said, we got MDL, we got Perfect World, we've got ESL, we've got PGL, we've got Epicenter, we've got Starladder, we got DreamHack, we've got the Summit. Those are 8 really frequent contributors to Dota 2 tournaments.
Yep.
Who are going to be dividing up 10 tournaments. And I'm forgetting some. I guarantee you I'm forgetting some. But this is going to piss off folks. Oh, yeah. And I'm wondering how many different tournament organizers are just like, you know what? Why do we even bother with Dota 2? We don't get great viewership out of it. We don't get necessarily strong engagement out of it. There's a solid chance that the community is going to find something to complain about, and then it'll blow up, and then we'll be super villains. Like, why bother?
I mean, I know what you mean, and I don't know,
Yeah. So the other thing is, the big thing that I really loved about this new Dota Pro Circuit season was that the rules kind of were structured in a way that would better facilitate teams coming back, like larger organizations coming back into Dota 2, like a Cloud9. And yeah, so far we've seen Immortals and Optic both lose teams. That's not good. And if they don't come back, I'm back worrying about the sustainability of Dota 2.
I agree. Let me. Here it is. Let's see. North America. March out of Army 2. Quincy. I would not be surprised to see Quincy Crew get picked up by Optic.
Yeah, definitely possible.
And I could see Immortals going to Southeast Asia and finding a roster there.
Yeah, and I should note, and Immortals, they have Mibber now. Like, they don't actually have an Immortals Counter-Strike team. They have Mibber, which is made in Brazil.
Well, and to be fair, Immortals also have their hands full with LA Valiant.
Yeah, they got a lot going on. Well, I mean, they had the LA Valiant.
Well, I know they had them before, but point being is that they made Mibber over the last year. They made LA Valiant over the last year. I would not be surprised if they said, you know what? We enjoy Dota. Maybe we'll come back. Maybe we won't. And I don't think that's necessarily an awful thing if the Immortals leave. Not saying that they weren't great. And I don't, but they're one of those orgs where them being stretched too thin is a very legitimate reality when you look at the way that they're set up, because they got Mibber and they've got Valiant. And those are two very deep investment things. They don't have any Clash Royale, I don't think. I don't think they've got a Rainbow Six Siege, team. So they're not one of those orgs that can play the spread out thing. Say again?
I said I'll look up what they got going on.
Okay. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. Let's say Immortals gets out, Team Envious gets in. That kind of blows up in my face. But yeah, I want to see a lot of different teams get into this, because Dota 2, as we've discussed previously, there are so many different organizations that just have ignored Dota 2, and for obvious reasons, because it's a clusterfuck where you can't actually field a competitive team for any length of time. That's kept out the SK Gamings, the Enviouses, the FaZe clans, those kinds of organizations. And it started to move in a positive direction with the addition of Immortals and Optic Gaming. And I'm wondering if we're now moving in a bad direction with both of them getting out. And with the fewer number of tournaments, that also puts more of a premium on players who are willing to stream. And that's, made more difficult with, once again, the increased importance of the international to the actual financial viability of a Dota 2 team.
Yeah.
So, not good is where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I
have I convinced you that everything's horrible?
Because of the way that it's set up, unless there's some fancy rule about if you're an unsigned team and you get signed, like your points transfer over. Basically, the state of Dota 2, like during the Kuala Lumpur Major, expect that to be the state of Dota 2, if not smaller, come TI next year. Like there is not a whole lot of room for growth bigger after that point with the way that we're set up right now. And just keep that in mind. Like it could get dicey.
Yeah, I definitely see more like pruning than growth. You know what I mean?
And again, depending on how it goes, it might not be awful. If we're able to stem the tide and just lose like 2 orgs this year, or 1 org or something.
But yeah, like
okay, not awful. But again, I don't
I've
know,
convinced you that everything is horrible and we're all doomed.
You haven't convinced. I mean, one, I've been worried about it for about as long as you have.
Yeah.
Just not quite as vocally and not quite as convinced. And two, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, my initial thought was oversaturation is why they're pruning down the tournament schedule, and now I'm looking at it and like, they just kind of cut their budget in half, didn't they?
Yep.
More than in half, because there were 22 tournaments.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. There's a lot of questions. I'm still excited. I think that there's still plenty of room for Dota.
Yeah, ultimately the barometer is going to be how many more organizations get into Dota 2. Like I said, if we get a MIBR Dota 2 team, if that we stack, are they playing with Brazilians? Or is that Peruvian?
I don't remember. 1 second.
And granted, Stewie 2K is like the star of MIBR, and he's like American as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could pick up that that King RD we misery group and make that MIBR. It would be as MIBR.
Because they weren't paying gaming. They were a Brazilian squad. So let me see.
Well, King RD is Brazilian.
King RD. Yeah, they're all Brazilian. Okay, so yeah, they were speaking Portuguese. That's what I thought.
Okay, yeah.
So there's again, you've got Infamous was the Peruvian squad. That's what I was forgetting.
But if we see a MIBR Dota 2 team, if we see a Team Envious Dota 2 team, if we see a Luminosity, et cetera, if we see all them jump back into Dota 2, that'll put a lot of my fears at rest.
If we see a Luminosity or an SK or an Envious or a Cloud9 or if we see any of those 4 teams come in this year, I am definitely. Oh, maybe not Cloud9. Maybe those first 3. Forgetting Cloud9. I am 100% not worried. Although SK Gaming is, but like I just that is a sign of the powers that be high up are bullish on Dota.
Yes. Yeah. Ultimately, we don't see the numbers. Like I'm kind of theorying all this doom and gloom.
Yeah. And also,
granted, I think my theories are solid.
Yeah.
But like, if you're Noah Winston, the CEO of Immortals, you actually have like papers to look at and balance sheets, and like, I'm sure if you ring up Gabe Newell, he'll actually answer your phone call.
Yeah.
He won't ignore your Rampage email. I
feel bad laughing at that, but that is how Noah Winston introduces himself.
Emailing Gabe Newell?
No, hi, I'm Noah Winston, CEO of Immortals.
Oh yeah.
Well, now he's probably like CEO of LA Valiant, but same thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's
CEO of MIBR too.
Yeah.
Which real quick, I'm gonna note that I really like Immortals doing that.
Yeah, same here.
It's not just Immortals; it's this umbrella of organizations that vary game by game. I like that. I think that it creates independent brands that are really interesting.
It's good. People were like complaining about that happening in Overwatch, and it's like, no, that's how you got to do this shit. You have to build an actual brand that people can connect to.
Yeah,
and
also you
got road. Another night, another show.
Yeah, Overwatch League is great though.
Yeah,
I'm glad that I actually have a team to root for now.
Yeah, I'm now super conflicted because I've got Boston, Toronto, DC, all to root for. Toronto, Vancouver. Not quite so much.
Go Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean the big thing with Toronto is that like I like Splice and they're picking up Toronto, and I'm definitely going to be applying for some jobs, both in Toronto and DC. So,
how are you going to get into Toronto?
Get into Toronto?
Toronto.
We'll make it happen. I'm sure that I can find somebody over there who would like sponsor me.
It's tough.
I know it's tough, but like, Well, first of all, depending on what it is, like I could work out of Rochester, New York,
That's true.
where Splice headquarters is, and just like drive across the border every day. But too, for like sports team stuff, I know that it's a little bit the rules are a little bit different for Canada. Than the traditional Canadian rules of prove why you can't hire a Canadian for this job.
Yeah. That's the big thing, and that's not easy.
Oh, I know it's not, and it's my understanding is it's even harder the closer you get to Alberta, not Alberta, Ottawa.
I mean, you could probably get a job in like none of it.
Oh yeah, who wants to work in none of it? First of all,
Nobody. That's why you can get
exactly.
That's why I recommended it.
Yeah. Anyways,
You should know that if you get a job there, you make good money there.
Yeah. I mean,
because nobody wants to work there.
But yeah, no. So Overwatch League again looking good, but I do think that if Dota can keep its shit together this year, it's got potential to grow, and it's gonna really have to soon. Except the fact that TI cannot keep growing like it does.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's honestly what they're going to have to do is Valve's going to have to go, okay, I think this is when things are going to get dicey, and find some drastic way to change things up so it doesn't look like, oh shit, we didn't make it, but like it's,
yeah,
it's different.
I mean, I kind of expect Valve to just like watch it sink if it does, and I don't know that I should think that. I just feel like that because I'm a cynical fuck.
Yeah, and I mean the thing for me is just like when you see Gabe Newell talk about Dota, he actually cares about the game. He likes Dota. There are some older interviews of Gabe talking about Counter-Strike, and they're really hard to find because there were like 2 of them, and he doesn't really care. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Is that this is Gabe's baby.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how Artifact impacts this as well.
True.
Yeah. Because it could make things better. Could make things worse.
Yeah. Either way, it's almost midnight.
Yeah.
I have to be up for class in 7 hours.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
What are you in class for?
I'm just taking some more college stuff, trying to get back on track.
I didn't even realize. Anyway, everybody have a great week. Have a pleasant tomorrow. And like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, follow us on Twitter. Link in the description. See ya.